don't like songs where they just start talking. I don't like songs where they just start talking. I don't like songs. I don't like them like that. You know, the song where the guy talks over the music and it kind of sounds like it goes along with the music, but it doesn't really. I don't like that. I don't like songs that they do a cappella. I don't like songs that they do a cappella. I don't like songs. I don't like them like that. A cappella. That's in Mexico.
Just gonna check the charger up there. Okay.
I don't like songs when they just start whistling. I don't like songs when they just start whistling. Don't like songs. I don't like them like that. Whistle along if you want.
Oh, okay. You have to use the mouse on this.
I don't like songs where they play the harmonica. I don't like songs where they play the harmonica. I don't like songs. I don't like them like that. Yes, I do. I love those songs.
Hey, can we unmute and clap, or just wave our arms around? There you go. Thanks, Duane. Great. That's your our first tradition. How does that make you feel? Not old, I hope. So welcome everyone. I am Dan Schneider. I work for Conservation Halton, and I'm not at one of our parks right now, partly because they're open. And we'd be competing with lots of people on a day like today, I think. I had an idea of being at Crawford Lake, and that would have been so awesome. But anyway, I'm in my front yard, and I can have my own fire here, so that's good. I'll be sharing it a little bit later on. So this is the beginning of the end. It sounds pretty serious, but our last, it does. It's our last Zoom meeting webinar of the Rekindle Week. Normally we would be, and we were going to be at Point Pelee in person, and that is hopefully going to happen next year. But in the absence of that, and lots of learning curves in every direction, pivoting, that's a new word, isn't it? We've got these webinars and Zoom meetings happening. And I've learned a lot. I just thinking back to yesterday, wandering around here, who was with Stana yesterday morning or afternoon? I was with her in the morning, and I learned just the pace of it was really neat. It was very calming, and also, I don't know, it just was beautiful to take a look at our area here at a different pace. Forest therapy was great. Tuesday, I learned about the butt breathers that live in the pond that's behind me here. I don't know, do I have to, oops, there. Pond is back there. And,
that's better, Dan.
Okay, great. And then on Monday, when Steve Steyer spoke, learning from the land really stuck with me. And I would just really like to acknowledge the learning that's happened in this area. I think about what I've learned, but think of the millennia with Indigenous people in our area, everywhere in the world really, but in our area, how much they needed to know and how much they learned about the plants and animals, and how much their knowledge keepers would know and how much we could learn from them. So what I want to do is really be open to learning from the land even more than I have been. And that was pretty special on Monday. Yeah, as I said, it's Tradition Fusion Duane Day. Duane was our first tradition. Our second thing, and there's something else happening right now. It's we're going to do breakout room. Is that the same as an escape room, Keren? Will everyone get back?
Yeah, so if you haven't been part
Okay.
of a breakout room on Zoom before, it often takes a few moments just to set up and launch you. So bear with us, give it a minute or two, and then when the timing is up, how long do you want for the stand?
Oh, like 4 minutes, 4
4
minutes?
4 minutes?
4
Okay,
4 minutes.
yeah, hopefully there'll be a timer or I'll just automatically boot you back. So keep that in mind.
Oh, wow, that sounds like a great thing. Hey,
What do you want us to do when we're
and
in
the
our
question here,
breakout
yeah,
rooms?
so what we'd like you to do, that you'll be in a room with randomly 3 or 4 other people. Introduce yourself, who you work for, where you're from, and if you like your marshmallows toasted or burnt, and why. Okay.
Okay, here y'all go.
We have to join.
Yep, once you'll be prompted to, so just accept.
We've had some really nice webinars this week. Yeah, interesting, eh? It's warm enough for honeybees to be checking out my tea. And I swear there's nothing stronger in it yet.
That's for after 3:30
After
p.m.
3:30, yeah, that's right. That's right. So is everybody back, do you think? Not yet?
Not yet. Another 10 seconds and then they'll automatically be put back here.
I wonder if we're going to be breaking up some real, fisticuffs or something, eh? It could be. The marshmallow thing is pretty big. It's like dog, cat, and what else is there? Red licorice, black licorice. Man, those are tough. Those are tough things.
I bailed out of my room. I'm back early.
Oh, no, that's okay. So how do you like your marshmallows cooked, Patty?
Oh, I like them a dark golden, and then you pull it off, and then again a golden, and you just keep pulling off. So there's like just a little bit left.
Okay. You don't like watching them burn?
Yeah, I like watching them. I don't necessarily like eating them burnt.
Okay. There's a difference.
There's a
Okay.
difference.
Is everyone back, more or less?
Yep, everybody's back now.
Okay. Another of the traditions there are for, one of them is the fire. So that knocks off another one. Okay. There are a few fires around, right? Tiffin Center has one, and any others around?
Melissa
Okay.
has one in her backyard.
All right. Fantastic.
Campfire's brilliant.
Yeah. So another of our traditions is, this is what this group is all about, is sharing expertise and new techniques. And with COVID happening, boy, did that ever test our resilience and creativity. We had that webinar back in September, and that was super impressive. People presenting what they were doing. And now we've got it's a much shorter session, but a few people have volunteered to share what they are doing, a few of their programs that they've had to change or come up with to deal with COVID, the COVID issue. And so Adam Wilford's going to be first, Credit Valley Conservation. And for everybody who presents, I'm going to put a stick of wood on the fire. And Adam, if you're choosing between, let's see, basswood and silver maple. No, basswood and trampling aspen, sorry. Which would you choose?
That's a tough one. Maybe I'll go with the trembling aspen.
Okay, I'll put a trembling aspen on for you. Now, you can't talk quite as long as it burns. But
Okay.
but it's just, that's sort of, it's your turn. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Hi, everyone. So yeah, I'm Adam Wilford. I'm Senior Coordinator of Community Outreach at Credit Valley Conservation. And last year, when the pandemic came around, I was coordinating our Conservation Youth Corps program. So in our outreach and education, we hire staff, beginning really February and into March for education positions, like many of you, I'm sure, for maple syrup season, et cetera. And then, of course, as the pandemic came around in March, we had to lay them off. Their contract seasonal staff, and we just didn't have any work for them, so they all got laid off. And then, as the weeks and months went by, our conservation areas reopened, and they were immediately overwhelmed by visitors. So some senior staff here started thinking about having this idea of like a park ambassador program. They had heard about similar programs opening up in other cities like Oakville and other nearby cities that were led by city workers. Some people were redeploying people that were bus drivers and to become a park ambassador. So they started thinking about that idea and kind of playing with it and seeing could we redeploy our laid off staff to do that. So we began kind of envisioning and brainstorming this idea of a park ambassador program, we were calling it at the beginning. And then as we got along, we started calling it conservation interpreters. And the idea was that they'd be deployed to our parks to help be a CVC presence. They'd be a friendly face to engage with visitors, answer questions, pick up litter, which had become a really major issue. I'm sure everyone's seen that along trails. And then just to politely ask visitors to obey by our rules as well, which we found were not being followed as much. So things like staying on trail, keeping dogs on leash, physical distancing, that sort of thing. So we basically were able to redeploy our education and conservation youth corps crew leader staff that otherwise would be, in a typical year would have been running programs to become kind of this engagement force in our parks. So we relied on their experience and engagement and education to be that really friendly face for CBC. It's not the same job that they applied to, but it's very similar, and they're really well suited to be that kind of engaging force. So they operated from the end of July, by the time we got the program up and running, to the end of October. So about a three-month stint. They really loved their jobs. It was really neat, really cool, some really good deliverables, I guess, that we got from the program. So we engaged with over 22,000 visitors. 14,000 of those were just like a really quick exchange of pleasantries, hello, how's your day going? But 8,000 of those were actually longer term engagements. So they were able to answer questions, help direct people to different areas. A lot of the people that were visiting our conservation areas weren't familiar with them and didn't know maybe the trails, etc. So helping answer those sorts of questions. They became experts on our trails. One of their missions was to walk every trail in the parks that they were deployed to. So they really knew the ins and outs of the parks. They picked up 230 bags of garbage. So they went around with litter pickers throughout their shifts and picked up garbage. They asked visitors to put 145 dogs back on leash, and they asked 930 visitors to come back on trail. That was one of the real major issues we're having, was just off-trail use and new trails being forged. Yeah, so that was kind of a neat, unique opportunity to deploy a new program and try something new this year.
Great that you kept stats, Adam.
Yeah,
that's really a good idea. Chris says disobedient stats are fascinating. Yes, and that's what you're talking about, Adam. Absolutely. Okay, well, thank you so much. Great.
No problem, thanks.
And you'd recommend that for any conservation area authority?
Yeah.
I should.
Yeah, especially in time of COVID, when the conservation areas are being overwhelmed with visitors, and a lot of the visitors are first-time users. They don't know it as much. Yeah, definitely highly recommended. I think it was a welcome thing in our parks this year.
Yeah, thanks for that reminder, Keren. Yeah, sure. We can continue using the chat. Okay, on to, there's a watershed named after a fish, a conservation authority named after a fish. Which one is that? Emily, Catfish Creek, Conservation Authority. I don't think I've ever been there, but we have to visit for sure. Emily, otherwise known as Ranger M, is going to be front and center right now. Thank you.
Thanks, Jan.
Sorry, one more thing. Would you balsam fir or cedar?
Ooh. Balsam fir, please.
Okay. Great.
So my name's Emily, or more locally, as Dan said, known as Ranger M, and I work at Catfish Creek Conservation Authority. It's just outside of Elmer, which is near London, if no one knows, because we are one of the smaller ones. Small but mighty. So Ranger M, what started as hopefully a fun and cute nickname, became kind of like a brand and an identity for myself. I use it as a way to introduce myself to kids taking part in our education programs at our conservation areas. However, when COVID hit, just like many CAs, we weren't doing any programs. It happened in the middle of our Maple Syrup Festival. So just like Adam said, we had to lay off our seasonal employees. And then I was the only educational employee really that remained. So I still wanted to find fun ways for people to interact with our conservation authority and still help work to create a connection to nature for some of our community members. So I created little series of videos on Facebook and YouTube, and I called them Learn with Ranger M. And it just highlighted some simple things families and kids could do around their house, like how to make a mini greenhouse, how to make a birdhouse, just things like that. And through this, I created my own social media to try and widen the engagement and the reach of these videos. And then I actually got talking with one of my friends who works at Rogers TV, and we made it into an actual TV show. So every other Thursday night for 25 minutes, it's me rambling on about some fun nature, outdoorsy things. And it's more interactive and educational than my videos, which were kind of just fun things they could do while in quarantine or self-isolation and when lockdown was happening. But these are actually kind of like education programs, and they can watch them at home because it's on the Rogers channel, or even on YouTube, because not everyone has cable these days. It has been pretty successful, but we can't view or see our viewership through the channel, but they do want to keep it going, so I'll take that as a good sign. And through my own social media, I've gauged a pretty decent viewership and engagement. And also with it, it's part of Catfish Creek for sure, but it's also kind of my own TV show, if you will. So I'm able to bring a lot of fun activity or ideas into it, and partners as well. So far I've worked with a couple local farmers that I know personally, and then a local blogger and influencer, and then also like reaching out to different CAs. So in a couple of weeks, I'm actually going to interview Scott Gillingwater at Upper Thames. So it's fun in that way to collaborate with CAs and bring different mindsets and people into it as well. It's also a really fun way to strengthen our community relationships and collaborate with local businesses and organizations, and make people more aware of their local treasures in their backyard, and also Little Elgin County businesses and organizations. So that's kind of what an overview of Learn with Ranger M. So thank you.
Thanks, Ranger M. Hey, I think our next conference should be at Catfish Creek.
Okay, well, give me some advice that's going to happen, because there's no room. So
at least a week's notice.
Yeah, I'll have to figure something out. Our boardroom won't hold us all.
No, that's great. Thanks, Emily. So well, Patti mentioned that she saw some of them and they were awesome.
Oh, thanks, Patti.
Oh, yep. So great. Thank you so much. It's one way to reach out to people when we can't be there, right? So next, Upper Thames, Maranda Mackean was a community member a while back. Hey, Miranda.
Everybody's here, Aaron and Bonnie.
Hey, I'm here too.
Yeah, great. Hi, guys.
We're all 2 meters apart, I swear.
Okay. All right.
I can't shake them, sorry. No, I'm kidding.
That's the building where we had a meeting way back when, an on-site meeting.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, okay, great. At Wildwood.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were out this morning.
Would you like sumac or sugar maple?
Oh, sugar maple.
Okay.
I got Bonnie over my shoulder saying sugar maple.
Okay. Okay, Miranda, you're on.
Okay.
You're talking about nature school, I believe.
Nature school, yeah. So anyone who was at Rekindle last year, we did a session on our outdoor school, which is our hybrid program for multiple visits with the same classes. So our nature school is an independently registered program. And I actually we wrote this morning an ode to COVID. So this sums up our recent history. COVID, you gave us time, so much time, to research, develop, share, and consult about our vision for Wildwood Nature School. Special thanks to Nicole and team at Lake Simcoe and Rebecca at Rideau for being an inspiration for us. COVID, you inspired us to diversify our programming, be less school reliant, meet current trends and demands in our area, to be new and fresh, although we feel very tired and old as we close out week 5 of our program. COVID. You challenged us to be innovative and adapt activities and routines to meet the ever-changing health and safety guidelines and public expectations to the nth degree. COVID, you gave us the opportunity to build our relationship with our conservation area staff who helped us to create our Wildwood Nature School area, take registrations, and put up with us while we rant, rave, and laugh about things in the building we all now share in order to stay socially distant. We're not quiet people by nature. COVID, you brought us home. We have reconnected with our roots, our childhood connections to nature, and our sense of whimsy and wonder, and we're loving it. So that sums up our experience with our nature school and dealing with COVID. So our nature school is an evolution. We've started about 6 years ago researching how to create forest school, nature school, outdoor school, whatever you wish to call it. This was our opportunity to really the spark under us and get ourselves together. So we created an area, we put out registration, we filled up for the most part very quickly. It's been an amazing experience. So our goal is to allow families, children to direct, to guide our experiences. We journal after each session, what they've talked about, what they've learned, what they've asked for, and that creates our plan for the next visit. It's 6 weeks long this fall. We're opening registration on Sunday for our winter session, which will be 6 weeks as well. And then we'll see where spring takes us. We're piloting different age groups, different registration platforms, and different types of programming to see what will work best. So it's exhausting. It keeps us up at night and wakes us up early in the morning, but we absolutely are loving it. So we hope to carry on. And that's Wildwood Nature School in a nutshell.
Thanks, Miranda. Is there, am I too old to join up?
You can come.
So it sounds like fun, and I love your poem. There are so many things that I think glass half full, right? It sounds great. Yeah, Melissa says, I love the ode. Okay, thank you so much. And so over to Melissa Levi, St. Clair Region Conservation Authority. Let's see here.
Can I request Cedar, please?
Yeah. Okay, that was easy.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay, great.
So, hi everyone. Melissa from St. Clair Conservation here. I just thought we would have a quick share today about our live streaming. Can I get a thumbs up if folks can hear me? I'm not lagging. Oh, good. Okay. Sharon and I just 2 weeks ago attempted our very first live stream program from the conservation area into a virtual classroom. So we had about 30 students and the teacher all joining through a Google Meet that the teacher set up. And I think really what we wanted to highlight, the reason why we chose to share today, what we wanted to highlight was Sharon and I, neither of us are techie people. I think most of us in the outdoor ed world aren't, or less so than maybe some other folks. And I really just feel like if we were able to succeed in this endeavor, then really anyone could. Sorry, Sharon, hope that doesn't sound negative on your end. Sharon mentioned while we were getting ready in the morning that when she started 33 years ago, she was using a machine called a Letraset. Some of you older folks might remember that, to physically put letters to create flyers, some kind of stamping transparency sort of thing. Anyway, and now she's holding a gimbal in her hand with a mic and all of these other really cool tech pieces. Something that I do want to mention really quickly that I found super, super handy. The teacher set up the Google Meet and we logged in with our camera. We also logged in with our iPad. And this actually was my favorite part of the whole experience because I, as the interpreter, couldn't see the camera screen, but because I had the iPad, I was still able to ask the kids questions and then read through their chat scroll. So I felt like I was still able to interact. And that was the one thing that I thought was going to be really, really weird and make it a difficult process. But that was like probably my favorite part of it was just that. So most of the stuff that we, most of the purchases we made and the equipment that we had actually came from advice from Will Sorley at TRCA. So shout out to him, even though he's not on the call today or I don't see him. But yeah, if anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer them too. So I'll maybe just type my email in the chat in case. So thanks.
Great, thanks, Melissa. And it's live stream, so you are doing things and the kids are seeing and commenting during that?
Yeah, so we were walking around the conservation area. We were at the pond, we were dipping. I had sample out already. We were showing them the bugs. We went and visited our favorite tree, gave them a hug, and the kids were able to come with us for the whole experience.
Can they ask questions as you go?
Yep, so I mostly asked them questions and then they chatted, and then if there was something that the kids would message the teacher, and then she would interrupt if there was like a really important question, and she would unmute them and then they would be able to ask directly.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and then we had a question period at the end where it was kind of an open platform.
Great. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
It was a really neat program.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Now, is Stana back from her where she was heading out into the hinterland near Kingston somewhere? She requested to be last, and Patti, do you mind going next? Because I don't know that Stana's on the call yet.
Yeah, she just joined.
Okay. And maybe Patti, could you be next in case Stana's not quite ready?
Sure, I just have to adjust my my little spiel. No.
Okay. No worries. If
No, here I
Stana's
go.
ready, she could
Here we
go
go.
too. Okay, great.
Okay,
Oh,
so
wow.
I was gonna say, hey everyone, I'm
That's a
Patti
cool
with Upper
background.
Thames. I was gonna say being last in the slot would make me realize I needed to present this sharing spot as kind of like a commercial. So here goes my less than 3-minute commercial snippet. Upper Thames Conservation Authority offers a river safety program, which I'm sure many of you also do, but perhaps to different audiences. Ours is for grade 2 students. So our river safety last spring, 9 more classes, no longer in person, online. Should we do it? Can we do it? Absolutely. But obviously not what we prefer. But yes, because it's a core program messaging, always stay safe near rivers and streams. So do you like reading stories or reading along with someone else? Our famous story about the journey of Splish and Splash. Now this is a story that's been adapted from an original film. Yes, a real REEL projector film. And it was actually created by the Grand River Conservation Authority a long time ago when perhaps the clouds and rivers were originally formed. Haha, Dan, you probably remember that. Online.
It's a great movie.
No, online, you can now read along or listen. So if you guys want to close your eyes for a moment. One sunny day, 2 friends named David and Lynn were sitting on the grass by the river. Hi there, piped up Splish. Oh. We were worried that you might slip off the rocks into the water. So we jumped out to remind you to always stay safe near rivers and streams. That's our online, we can have that book online now. You can open your eyes now if you like. What are some of the hazards near rivers and streams? You click present in the top right corner to get started. Do you think any of the pictures behind me can be caused by flooding? Click a picture if you think it can be a result of flooding to find out more. Drag the blue water line onto the graph to guess how deep the water needs to be to knock you off your feet. Make a car float. Once you've made your answer, you click to the next slide to reveal your answer. Maybe you enjoy an activity of concentration. We've converted our giant watershed puzzle activity to an online version of concentration where pictures and clues reveal information about what lives and happens in our watershed, and of course the importance of water. Like, I can be quite noisy when I fly with others in a V shape. Can you guess what I am? Congratulations, you got it right, you're a goose. What about the water near you? Check out the Google Maps that highlight your school and the water bodies close by. Quizzes, an interactive slide presentation focuses on what's the difference between a pool and a river, flow or no flow. And you can quiz yourself with answering, this type of water can carry you away. What's your answer? Correct, a river. Or how about puzzles, word searches, mazes? We've got an activity booklet for your students to print or complete online. So using the Google Suite of docs and slides and drawings, which many of our school boards and teachers in our area are already using, our resources now mimic our in-person activities. So we said to those 9 teachers and classes, if you are booked for an in-class 1.5 hour presentation, you and your students can still get the river safety program messaging, we've got you. Use our online resources by accessing hyperlinks that we'll send you. Feedback revealed they enjoyed sharing the message with their students last spring, and since we can't go into schools yet this year, we're still considering offering this option again. If you want more information about how we converted our 1.5 hour in-class program to online resources for students and teachers, don't hesitate to ask. Thanks, and remember, all together now, always stay safe near rivers and streams. Done. Did I get 3 minutes?
I think you nailed it.
And I wanted applewood.
Oh, I'll be right back. Let's see, that'd take about half an hour. Is that okay? I'm not sure if I have an apple anywhere here. Don't think so. But can I offer you sumac or silver maple? Or white ash or basswood?
Basswood.
Basswood it is. Okay. Great. Thanks, Patti. Yeah, let's talk about a core program, eh? Very important. Oh, I think I just collapsed the fire. Okay, great. Yeah, thanks, Patti. That was perfect. Stana, there you are.
Hey there.
Yeah, and we were just talking about, I was just mentioning how I look at our place here a little differently now after the forest therapy walk yesterday. So it was very nice, thank you. So Stana from Cataraqui or Key?
Cataraqui.
Neither of the two, no way. Cataraqui. Okay, the success of our nature programs for early and home learners, even during the pandemic. So thank you. Oh, and I have to offer you silver maple, white ash, or sumac to put on the fire.
I'll take some sumac, please.
Okay.
So, do you want me to get going, Dan?
Yeah, sure.
Nice fire. I'm beside my fire pit, but it's too windy. The wind gusts are really high here today, so I have my pretend fire.
Yeah, let me know if the Adirondacks behind me catch fire. That could happen here. It's a bit windy, not too bad. Go ahead.
Okay, so we have we've been running our nature programs for home learners and early learners. Well, I've been there this is my 22nd fall, so for that long. And I just have to say, I was on the emergency leave, but since coming back in September, there's been such a huge demand from families. And so for our early learners, that's ages 2.5 to 5. And it's an 1.5 hour program. And it's just lovely. We have a real rhythm, so they know what to expect. We have an opening, gigantic, safely distanced circle. And there's song always built in within it. And we just have a little theme of the day. And it's really a chance for the parents and the children to kind of connect together. I invite the parents to turn off or silence their cell phones and just be with their little ones. Of course, there's lots of puppets involved and little games. And so we were marsh dipping and finding insect friends, and we went salamander searching. So it's just it's been really feeding me, and I know it's been feeding them. And normally they don't want to come in November. It starts to get too cold, but they ask for more. And so we opened it up in November, in even December as well. We have a group coming out then. And for home learners, they used to always drop their children off, but I felt safer to shift to invite parents to stay. And some parents share in the caregiving. So there's one parent that's in charge. They're all the kids are in the same bubble. And so there's one parent, they'll have like 8 kids, and we have a maximum of 10 children. There's another group that has another parent that they take turns and they share their kids. But again, it's been super supportive, both for the parents and the children, and myself as well as an educator, to have a small group and to be supporting them in relationship building and nature connections. So I just feel like it's a core program that we have, even though it's tiny. It really does reach out to our community. It really ripples out. And some of those children that took part in the programs before, they actually, have gone on to, be environmentalists in various fields, environmental lawyers, and you name it, and have come back. And part of it was that time of like returning over and over again to these programs. So that's just a little taste of our nature programs for home and early learners. Thank you.
Starting early is important, for sure. And every kind of learning and attaching to nature too, right? Yeah. Thanks, Dana. And how was it in the hinterland?
Oh, awesome. So good. I had a private school and there were 13 of them, and we had a fantastic day. It was just, the weather is actually really beautiful here. So super awesome. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you. Hey,
you.
Sandy. Is Sandy somewhere around, right? Sandy Root?
Hey, Dan, it's Sandy. Yes.
There you are. Okay, great. Good to see you again. It's been a while.
Great to see you. I know.
Yeah, and absolutely. If you have something to add, absolutely.
Well, I'm really pleased to meet up with people that I haven't met before, and people that I have. So hello, everyone. Sorry, I have an outdoor animal here, so they're visiting. I work with the Hamilton Conservation Authority, and we're finding, just like Alex had mentioned, that we've had a huge influx of people coming out to our areas, off trails, on trails, dogs off leash, on leash, bikers, horseback riders, etc. And in terms of our environmental education, it was completely stopped at that point in time. As soon as the first COVID hit, we've been negotiating very strongly with our school board, our Hamilton Whitworth and district school board, as well as the Hamilton Catholic, to allow us to get back into the schools. We've just received the okay for that, so there's hope for everyone. So that's a good thing to know. And part of that was, I think, because we produced a very strong argument, or very concise paperwork on exactly what protocols we're going to follow, what steps are going to happen, etc. So that there was no hesitation for them to be able to say, yes, go ahead with classes at our site. They're not allowing us in the schools, which makes sense. They are allowing us on the site. And there are certain requirements for being on site, as people can well appreciate. Things like they have to demarcate the area that we're going to be doing our activities in. All equipment has to be sanitized. And take note, if you are able to go onto the school locations, use their sanitizer materials, whatever it is they use, so they cannot come back at you and say, oh, you used the wrong substance, thank you, so we're not happy with you coming back. So, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff around making that distance so that you've got a, your meter distance. It's sort of equivalent to a pool noodle distance. So if you give all the children a pool noodle, not as a weapon, but as a tool, then that can be useful for gaming activities. We've really sort of are establishing it around certain aspects. One of them being grade 2, 3, and 4. then a grade 4 to 6 program, and a grade 6 to 8 program. So we're working with those parameters. I was very intrigued with hearing about the virtual programming as well, which is where we're moving right now. I'm just in the process of trying to buy the right equipment so that we can work virtually with our e-learners. And yeah, we've already got some bookings for that to start happening. And Hamilton right now is in a red zone. So we'll find out if we're completely locked down in the future. And for anybody who hasn't started a worm vermiculture program, I think that's the way to go. We're offering schools the opportunity to start their own worm programming. That incorporates discussions around soils, the microorganisms in a soil culture, using red wigglers, just because they're easy and they eat a lot fast, utilizing the red wigglers, and we're able to send those to our e-learners as well. You can, I know you can send worms in the mail. So we're looking at doing that. You know, I mean, the understanding of worms is basic, but if there is a lockdown from our perspective, the students can still do experiments with the worms, good experiments, measurements, how many eggs are produced, the number of worms that are produced over time, etc. So we're trying to work within those parameters, and any information is good information. I love this sharing feature at this point. And Dan, thank you for not putting any wood on the fire for me.
Oh, I was just, okay. I was going to give you the choice between silver maple and white ash.
Oh my gosh. The white ash, sadly, yes.
I know. Okay, I'll put that on. But thank you, that added a lot. Visiting the schools is their grounds. I think there are other folk doing that as well. And it's, for conservation authorities that aren't doing it, it's good to hear about how you're doing it. So thank you. Great. And I'll put that white ash on. So just after, Duane, is your guitar still in tune? I'm hoping. I have down musical interlude for the next thing that's on. Is Duane still on?
The next hour?
You want the next hour?
Is that what you said?
No. No. Could you play another tune? You're going to at some point play "Don't Pee in the Pond," right?
Yeah. Do you want me to do that now?
Well.
Or do you have one more?
Oh, there'll be another one. Chance for another one, I think. Yeah. For sure. So your choice.
You want me to play something now?
Yep.
All right. This is spruce. I think it's a spruce top, but we won't put it on the fire.
Okay. I remember that.
So when I wrote this song, I was afraid to play it in front of parents because I thought they'd be offended, but now they're just mad at me because they sing it over and over. So anyway, it's kind of like a watershed song. There's an otter swimming in the water. That was an obvious rhyme. Fish are fishing, mosquitoes cause itching. The crickets are singing in time. You should have went before you left home. You know you can't hold it that long. What's the matter with your bladder? Don't pee in the pond. When it rains on my windowsill, all that water runs downhill. Down the driveway, down the lane, into the river from my drain. Should have went before you left home. You know you can't hold it that long. What's the matter with your bladder? Don't be in the pond. The frogs and I are thinking that soon we'll be drinking all that stuff someday. The muskrats multiplying and the dragonflies are flying. The ducks have got lots to say. Should have went before you left home. You know you can't hold it that long. What's the matter with your bladder? Don't be in the pond. Eagles are fishing, and the turtles are wishing they could go south every spring. The pond skaters are skating, and I'm still debating if I should swim in this thing. You should have went before you left home. You know you can't hold it that long. What's the matter with your bladder? Don't be in the pond. What's the matter with your bladder? Don't be in the pond. So.
Okay. Hey, Duane, I just heard that's great. I think that's my fave of yours. Hey, amongst others, Keren taught me a term for, remind me, Keren.
Busting a 50 or busting a 100?
Busting a 50, okay, which, well, I just had to do so. 50 meters from a pond, right? That's it, or any body, any water body?
Yeah, for a P, you got to bust a 50, and you need to remember if it's a number 2, you have to bust a 100 because you need to be farther away.
Right.
Well,
I like that. I like that. So new song, Duane.
Thanks.
Busting 50. Okay. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Hey, another tradition. The WIN Awards. And I think I'm turning this over to Naomi. Is that true? Up north, not too far north.
Hi, guys.
If Daniela were on, oh my gosh, short sleeves? You
Yeah,
guys.
in Barrie, short sleeves.
What? Northerners, hey? No kidding. And no snow though, no snow. Okay.
No snow. It disappeared yesterday.
Okay. And
All right.
Bonnie is there too? There's
Bonnie
some strange disembodied hand behind you. Okay. That is pretty spooky, I'd have to say. Okay, so yeah.
Well, now I know what to make you for.
So,
over to you.
Thank
over
you.
To you.
So, coming to you live from the Hive. So here we are in Nottawasaga watershed, and which is just a little bit west of Barrie, and we're here to talk about the Conservation Authority program that showed the most innovation and creativity, which is typical of the Innovation Award. But this year is a little bit different, as we know. So this year we were looking a little more specifically at how did we pivot? How did different CAs create programs that can engage people through a digital screen, through distancing, all sorts of different measures. And folks, you didn't disappoint. There are so many great ideas and different programs that are now in place. And we're sharing ideas so that hopefully we can all get on board with doing that. What's nice about being here in the Hive, you might remember that the NVCA won the Hive program in 2018. So the Hive was developed and designed by one of our educators, Grant Wilson. And it's a free play forest, so a safe place for kids to play with minimal supervision. And that's why we have a paddle in the back. Keren, do we want to tell folks something about voting? That wasn't mentioned yet?
Not yet.
Yeah, I feel like you can share that right now, and we're set up we're set up on Zoom to vote.
Great. So we're all busy and we're kind of all over the place. We didn't have a lot of votes come in yet, and we know you want to vote. So what we've done is we've changed things up a little bit. So Keren has created a Zoom link or survey that you can do right now. Please go to that. Is it within chat?
Yeah, so I'm going to launch it in just a minute. I thought that maybe you want to say a bit more about it before I put the 3 options up.
Sure, sounds good. Okay, so we had 6 candidates that were nominated, and I'll just go through a little bit of each one. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to see them, and some of them are if you took part in the very first webinar, some of them are from that as well, because they were indeed innovative at this time. So the very first one was St. Clair Conservation, so Melissa and Sharon, and what they did was they created 14 curriculum connected virtual field trips, which were viewed by 20,000 students in Ontario, Canada, and beyond, which is amazing. And they also created virtual field trips. So within that, they had family field trips where people could come out in small groups that were bubbled up, so on-site programming. They have something called a live stream with a naturalist, so which allowed students and teachers to connect virtually in time with them in nature at a conservation authority. And nature in your neighborhood as well. So 13 hands-on programs delivered in schoolyards. Another innovative Conservation Authority program, Kettle Creek Conservation. Now, every year, Betsy and Marianne would host a festival for the Carolinian forest and forests in general and biodiversity, so touching grade 6 and grade 7. This year, because of COVID, that couldn't happen. And so working with some of the high school students local to them, they put together a festival that went online and follow-up activities for the teachers to utilize in their classroom to continue the education. Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority, their program, within 2 weeks of things closing, they pretty much put everything online. So they developed a Facebook group, which a couple months ago hit 1,000 members, which is fantastic. So they're offering programming that's free. A couple of things that they're doing is families at play, so families playing together in nature, obviously small bubbles. Also a lot of resources that folks, whether they are parents, teachers, homeschoolers, can print and play to do their own programming, which obviously a lot of people they're lacking in resources to do that, and that's where we fit. As well, they have an educator professional development webinar and do-it-yourself hike kit. And just briefly, Kristen from Essex did some professional development PD programs for kindergarten to grade 8. Conservation Halton's program had bubble programming as well for in the park, as well as a virtual tour of the Longhouse at Crawford Lake. And Will from TRCA, as mentioned by a couple of our colleagues, put together some resources that he put in place for buying the equipment and helped us, a lot of us, get online. So those were the other 3 also nominated, also fantastic. But the 3 that we are going to vote for now would be St. Clair, Kettle Creek, and Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority. So if you wouldn't mind going into the link, I think Karen's launched it. We're going to take a vote right now. There we go. Please vote for, and if you've already voted, Keren, I don't think they need to vote again, do they?
Yes, we would like everybody to vote, because what happened was we didn't have, as you mentioned, not enough voters to feel like it was a fair chance. Yep. And so with everybody on the call today, we're now voting for the top 3 that receive votes: Kettle Creek, Lake Simcoe, and St. Clair. And so we'll give a few seconds to vote. I see 13 of 21 people that have voted on my end, and votes are coming in. Dan wanted to make a joke here about something to do with politics, but I'll leave it at that. There's still 2 or 3 people that have a chance to vote.
Probably Bonnie can't, because she's doing the.
I'm doing the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think my vote counts. I don't.
And the hosts can't vote. So if I end voting right now, is there anybody else that hasn't had a chance to vote?
Host. Oh, am I a host?
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to share the results so you'll all find out who the innovative winner is this year.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll.
Donated woodpecker.
St. Clair.
Yeah, well, congratulations.
Amazing.
Big congratulations, St. Clair.
Woo!
Thanks, everyone. That's awesome.
They were all great.
They were all great.
Congrats,
They were
St. Clair.
fantastic.
Oof.
Now,
Wow.
in the past,
Thank
we've
you.
had paddles as the award. And we had a problem locating the carver that we've usually used. We have something different this year. We received this beautiful, you can see the kestrel carving. This is a wood.
Oh, wow.
This is a wood carving. And the gentleman who he gave it to us for a very nominal fee. He's a world-class carver, and his name is Winston Smith. His partner and he learned about conservation authorities and educators and how many children we educate in Ontario, and they were happy to give us this beautiful thing at a fantastic price. It's beautiful. So congratulations.
Thank you, Naomi.
Yeah, thanks everyone. That's super awesome. We're I feel honored. I'm sure Sharon does too. So
Very much. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just, again, the innovations are pretty awesome in the face of COVID, right? Creative people in every direction. But congrats, St. Clair. That's awesome. And now, I think I turn it over to
Chris.
To Melissa for just a few minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, can everybody hear me? I'm outside. I don't know about my internet. Somebody will jump in if I lag. Okay. Can I please ask Sharon to turn on her video? Sorry, Sharon. Please.
I'm working on it. I got the mute. Now I have to do the video.
Okay. So I asked Dan if I could steal like 2 or 3 minutes because I just wanted to give you a shout out, Sharon. I know a lot of people on the call have known Sharon for a really long time because she has been with St. Clair for 33-ish years.
Yep.
Am I lagging?
Yes,
Am I lagging? So hopefully I'm okay. So yeah, I just wanted to take a moment to let everybody who doesn't already know that Sharon is retiring. I only have her for another 2 weeks or so. And I just wanted to have a chance to sort of let the whole group know because we all would love to say goodbye to you in person and that might not happen quite yet. Yeah, Sharon knows that I love her and I'm gonna miss her a ton, but I thought it might be nice for all of us to pop our cameras on and wish her well as well. So thanks, Dan, for giving me the mic for a few minutes. And look at all these folks, Sharon.
Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. I'll have to scroll through and see everybody's faces.
All the best, Sharon.
Yeah.
That's
so
thank
congratulations and yeah, good luck. And I'm gonna see you still, but
I know, yeah. even after 16 work days left, but I'm not counting.
So thanks, Dan.
Yeah, all the best, Sharon.
If it's okay for everybody to put on their cameras, I can do a quick group photo before people have to start leaving at the end of the session, if you're okay to do that.
Sure.
And if not, then just keep your camera off, but I'll give you a countdown for that. That way everybody's gonna smile.
Okay.
And just pause your smile for a second. Oh, 3.
Hey, Naomi, that looks
I'm
great. Beside the kestrel.
Okay.
I think, yeah, they're all, yeah. No, not the brown handled
3,
ones.
2, 1. Hold it. Hold. Okay. Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
some of them have their own.
Thanks,
The beige handled ones are not mine. Yeah,
Could,
yeah, the black handled
I
ones, I
think it's
think.
over to Chris and someone else, I'm not sure who else, for the next event. Is
Hi,
that right?
everyone.
There's
Yeah,
Chris.
happy.
All right.
We're happy to give
Down
it
in
a
the
go
deep
here.
south.
If she's okay.
So for those that don't know me, I'm Chris Ives from the Essex Region Conservation Authority. Pardon me while I change my view so my face isn't giant in my own screen. All right, that's better. Today I'm chiming in as one of your Rekindle Win Awards subcommittee members. And what a better way to wrap up our Rekindle Conference Week and to celebrate environmental education with recognizing one of our colleagues with a well-deserved Outstanding Achievement Award. For those of you who may not know, I'll provide a bit of background on the award, but I like to think that it's famous. The Outstanding Achievement Award recognizes a Conservation Authority employee with a dedicated career in conservation education programs. The individual will have made significant and long-standing impacts in conservation education and or within watershed communities through various initiatives that could include innovating new education programs and or projects, fostering community awareness and stewardship of land, water, and or air, through outstanding achievements in building and maintaining impactful community education partnerships, and more. Nominations are received and the winner selected by the subcommittee for the WIN Awards. We always enjoy receiving and reviewing, and of course it's so difficult to make a decision because everyone is so deserving for the passionate and committed work that they do. With that said, it's my great honor to announce this year's winner, Jim Aikenhead of Conservation Halton. He'll be recognized with the 2020 Watershed Interpreters Network Outstanding Achievement Award. And he's with Dan now, but I just want to say a couple more things before I turn it over. Over 41 years, Jim has shared his passion for the natural world with approximately 140,000 students and a huge number of public visitors. His influence covers the Halton region and extends far beyond as well. Jim has developed a catalog of incredible nature programs, as well as partnering with local teachers, schools, and boards of education to promote and advocate for environmental education programming. I'm told that Jim's creativity and energy particularly shine through his riveting nature puppet shows, which I haven't had the pleasure of seeing, but perhaps we can arrange for a live performance at Rekindle 2021. Jim retired from Mountsburg last year, but has stayed on part-time to mentor young staff and support the education team in various ways. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce one of Jim's colleagues who'd like to offer a more personal tribute to Jim's incredible career and influence. Dan, take it away, and congratulations, Jim.
Congrats, Jim.
Thank you so much.
Virtual handshake. Okay.
Thanks for the
Have a
words,
seat.
Chris.
Hopefully, can we both sit down here, I wonder, and be seen? There's Jim. I was going to ask Jim to pretend that he'd canoed over with the canoe just back here, but that would have been quite a portage too. I think so. So are we both visible?
Yep.
Can you hear us? And is that a good thing?
Yes, yes.
Okay, congratulations, Jim. And thanks, Chris. Gosh, where to start? I want to share something from a colleague. His name is Spencer. He's a great guy. He is what's that called that he does? Improv. He's an improv actor, and I asked him to write a tribute for Jim. While we were waiting for a school class at Mountsburg, he had that thing done in 5 minutes, and it was so good. It's just improv, right? And here, listen to this. I think this is really special, Jim. This is Spencer, one of the younger staff at Mountsburg and Crawford Lake. Spencer, I began my time at Conservation Halton in 2015 after a stint with Parks Canada. When I came to Mountsburg, a park so lovingly and carefully curated by Jim Aikenhead, I was instantly struck by the heart of this place. It was a park so full of love, and in the center of this living, beating heart stood Jim. That's pretty amazing. And then the next, he continues just a little bit here. Jim cares and has always cared about how students interact with this place, and truly exhibits what it means to be a naturalist, what it means to be a nature interpreter. So,
thank you, Spencer.
yeah, well, that's from the heart, and to the heart. Just a couple of things from Brenna, who was Jim's supervisor for, well, still our supervisor, I guess. Yeah, 10 years and counting. And she actually was a student of Jim's.
Yeah, there were a few.
They were a few. and gives Jim a lot of credit for where she ended up with. She had multiple visits to Mountsburg. I think he visited her school once, Brownie and guide group. So you met her several times, and now she's your boss.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Strange world.
That's good that she credited that for heading her in that direction, which is pretty cool. That's pretty awesome and a real tribute. And I'll just add something from my end. When I came into Mountsburg Conservation Halton as a young recruit, I just love saying that. A few years ago.
Yeah, just a few.
Yeah, I was really impressed with your teaching, but I think what impressed me most puppet shows, of course. I thought I was a good puppeteer, but this guy, it's him. He's the star.
It's fun.
But what impressed me most was, and you said it and you showed it, that one of your most important things to do, you felt, was to mentor the young staff.
Yeah,
and to make sure that they could.
Always important.
Yeah. So a lot of people have you to thank for that. Any little highlights that you can think of, or
highlights
moments with students
over 40 years? I think the establishment of the Raptor Center in Mountsburg was a big highlight.
Yeah.
And the programs that evolved there.
Can everyone hear?
Okay, good.
Is there a thumbs up?
I can see one person.
Thumbs up. Okay. Well, that might be me.
No, at the top.
Okay.
The Christmas Town program and how it's grown.
It sure has.
I guess for me, personally, the success of the Nature Play program, which
for kindergarten kids, yeah,
to have
no kidding.
Established, and it took off. It's done very well.
Yeah, and I've taught that one. Yeah. That's brilliant. So, yeah, so major congratulations, Jim, and on behalf of Watershed Interpreters Network, the Outstanding Achievement Award.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to receive this. It's such an honor.
Absolutely deserving.
I wonder if I might just thank a couple of people.
Of course.
All the people that I've worked with and been a part of the programming and whatnot over the years, but two people who pushed me in the right direction. One was Mr. Frank Blue, who was at the Waterloo Region District School Board and ran Wrigley's Corners. I volunteered at Wrigley's Corners when I was in university in the early 70s, and he must have seen something and he encouraged me.
Rightly so.
With a program one day, and he said, look, this is kind of a big group. Why don't you take half and I'll take half? And that was it. From then on, I was hooked.
Yeah.
And I guess the other person would be Gary Hutton, who hired me at Conservation Halton to work at Mountsburg, and I never left. Those two people for sure.
Well, yeah, they're gain for you not leaving in, well, 40 plus years, right? Fantastic. So
great times.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much. Thank you, everybody.
Can we unmute and do a, oh gosh, something, or a woohoo or howdy, Jim? Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Great. Well, congrats, Jim.
Yeah, thank you.
That's totally well deserved. It's
beautiful.
That's the La Tournelle tree.
Yes.
It's somebody designed it for the La Tournelle conference. So yeah, great.
Great. Thanks again.
Okay. Virtual handshake. Virtual hug.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Where'd my chair go? There it is. And the Adirondacks have not caught fire. How's that for a glass half full thought? Okay. Hey, Duane.
Yeah.
We should warn you ahead of time.
Yeah,
Could you
that's okay.
play another tune?
Yeah.
If anyone needs to bust 50, this is the time. No, sorry, Duane. That sounds bad.
What's 100 again?
Yeah. No, I only meant that if they had to, they'd miss your song, so it wouldn't be good.
Great. I don't know if anyone saw the creature on my lap there during that.
What creature?
It was a cat. I call him different things depending on what he's done, but he's kind of young. There are 3 other ones around the house, and they all have their own little personalities. So he's friendly. We have one that's not very friendly, but anyway, so I got to do this cat song. Oh, Mr. Johnson had trouble of his own. He had a yellow cat that wouldn't leave us home. He tried to give the cat away, but the cat came back the very next day. Oh, the cat came back the very next day. The cat came back, thought he was a goner, but the cat came back, he just wouldn't stay away. Gave that cat to a man with a white beard, said put it in your sleigh and get it out of here. Way up north with the wind and snow, the last thing he heard was ho, ho, ho. Cat came back the very next day. Cat came back, thought he was a goner, but the cat came back, he just wouldn't stay away. A mad scientist took that yellow cat, put it in a time machine with one big rat. Send it back 10,000 years. And the rat said, man, we are never getting out of here. But the cat came back the very next day. The cat came back, thought he was a goner, but the cat came back, he just wouldn't stay away. So I was thinking, how am I going to get rid of these cats? I know, Grandma's going to Florida, so I sent a cat with her. Grandma took the cat to a Florida swamp where the mermaids swim and the alligators chomp. Went to the beach for a swim before dark. The last thing she saw were some bubbles and a shark. But the cat came back the very next day. The cat came back, thought he was a goner, but the cat came back, just wouldn't stay away. Took that cat to Toronto, took that cat to Buffalo, took that cat to Mexico. You guessed it. Cat came back the very next day. Cat came back, thought he was a goner, but the cat came back, he just wouldn't stay away. Meow, meow, meow. Thanks.
Virtual applause, no, real applause.
Thank you.
We need, I was going to say to Jim that It's pretty quiet out here except for the wind. The spring peepers are holding their plus till March, and most of the birds as well. Tree crickets till next August. That'll be a while, eh? Anyway. So thanks, Duane. That's great. We get you to do one more still at the end here, but we're getting to the end and remarkably still within our 90 minutes. And if people have to go at that point, of course, feel free. We may stick around a little bit longer to chat or something like that. I'd like to recognize the committee that, well, it hasn't been a very straight line since a year ago. That's for sure. That was a great conference at Mono Cliffs. I thought it was just really fantastic. And we had our traditional snow and we had good times, really nice to get together. Gosh, I hope we can do that next year. But between then and here, different, not a straight line, that's for sure. We had Point Pelee pretty much up and running in January and even some programs booked and poof. But my hat is almost off to all the staff, all the committee who worked so hard to change things around and still make this a significant rekindle. The 2 webinars, in fact, going forward, we've got this to fall back on, not just to fall back on, but to add to what we do. And I think that's super special. We'll come out of it stronger than we went into it. So meaning COVID. And we thought poor political decisions and teachers' strikes, that sort of thing, were the biggest challenge. But nope, not this year. So to just single out these people, if I can. First, and I don't know if Nina's on, but the incredible co-chair, Nina Sampson, Osable Bayfield Conservation Authority. The indomitable vice chair, Naomi Saunders, Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority. Did I get that right? Yeah. The relentless past chair, Keren Bromberg, Credit Valley Conservation. Thanks for all the technical support this week, Keren. Oh my gosh. Miraculous Melissa Levi, St. Clair Region CA. I use that term because it's a miracle that she can be on almost all the committees. Last year, I said jokingly at the end of the conference that she was on every committee, but that's not true. She wasn't on the program committee, but now she is. So she's a great help in various ways. Spectacular team from the Southwest, Chris Ives and Samantha Keller. You guys helped set up our workshop for 2020, not realizing that it was for 2021. Okay, and also were instrumental in getting the first 2 webinars happening. Marvelous Brenna Bartley, Conservation Halton, connection to our staff there. Amazing Emily Febrey. Am I saying your name right, Emily? Febrey? I hope so.
Yes, you are.
We just go by first name so often. Catfish Creek Conservation Authority, also known as Ranger M, which we know now. Astounding Will Sorley and Sherry Owen from TRCA. Will, our tech guru. Any technical issues? Gosh, and it's nice to know that your knowledge is used at St. Clair to do live streaming, and it's spreading out. And the calming Stana Luxford and Krista Fazakerly. I hope I'm saying these names right. Oh gosh. Just, forest therapy and being just a nice, both of you. I don't know if Krista's on the call, but Stana, I guess, is just being a great calming influence, not just forest therapy, but in every way. Not that we're outrageous at most times, but it was just great to have your calming influence. Awesome Nakisha Mohammed, Conservation Ontario, that's what we're all about. She kept us in touch with province-wide matters, and we are province-wide, which is really special. The inspiring Bonnie Anderson, Simcoe County District School Board. Oops, she doesn't work for Conservation Authority, but she is such connection to so many, well, she's got so many great ideas and such a connection to so many great people, including Liz on Tuesday, and on and on and on, that it was awesome to have Bonnie with us. And last, stupendous, it's blank. Uh-oh. And that could be you. So did I do that well? I don't know. There will be some of us who they're finishing our term. And by the way, it will be a peaceful transition. We would like other folks to join us. Some of you have been in the committee in the past, but we're coming up to, the end of a 2-year stint for some folks. And it's great to have new people and give some people opportunities to step back for a bit. So if you'd like to join us, how could they do that, Keren? Who would they contact?
They're going to contact you.
Sorry?
They're going to contact you.
They're going to contact me. Okay, sure. Great. Okay, join us. Facebook as well. The Facebook, which is new. Some cool things happen in spite of COVID. We're Facebook. Into Facebook now. I never was before, but it's been great. Thanks to Keren and Naomi, I think, for being the two in charge of that one. Yeah. And is there anything else? I do have just a very few words to finish with. And if anyone would like to stick around just a little bit, Duane, if you could play again, that would be great. Okay, I always have difficulty with this, just the finishing part, because it's been really nice and fun, and sort of the end of the week, and we will do this again. That's a great thing about these webinars, these meetings. We'll be able to continue, not 4 times a week, till hopefully not next year either, because hopefully we'll be in person. But we'll do this again for sure. There are already some good ideas out for webinars or meetings. Anything else? Okay, this is a Native North American blessing. May you have the strength of eagle's wings, the faith and courage to fly to new heights, and the wisdom of the universe to carry you there. Until next time, Duane. If anyone would like to stick around, please do.
There. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I don't know where I went there. Once I went to England, visited the Queen, said she was the grandest lady I had ever seen. I told her she was beautiful, could not offer more, and she offered me a sandwich and she threw me out the door. Oh, sandwiches are beautiful, sandwiches are fine. I like sandwiches, I eat them all the time. I eat them for my supper, eat them for my lunch. If I had 100 sandwiches, I'd eat them all at once. Once I met a pretty girl, fairest in the land. Young men in the country, they were asking for her hand. They offered her the moon, they offered her the sea, and I offered her a sandwich, and she said she'd marry me. Sandwiches are beautiful, sandwiches are fine. I like sandwiches, I eat them all the time. I eat them for my supper, eat them for my lunch. If I had 100 sandwiches, I'd eat them all at once. Well, the sandwich can be ham or cheese or even peanut butter. They're all so good to me, it really doesn't matter. Turkey club, submarine, any kind will do. I love sandwiches, how about you? Oh, sandwiches are beautiful, sandwiches are fine. I like sandwiches, I eat them all the time. I eat them for my supper, eat them for my lunch. If I had 100 sandwiches, I'd eat them all at once. Oh, sandwiches are beautiful, sandwiches are fine. I like sandwiches, I eat them all the time. I eat them for my supper, eat them for my lunch. If I had 100 sandwiches, I'd eat them all at once. If I had 100 sandwiches, I'd eat them all at once.